Park Chung-hee, the man who built modern Korea at a heavy price. Park Chung-hee remains one of history's most controversial figures. Born dirt poor in 1917, he rose through the ranks of the military and seized power through a coup in 1961. His story shows how one leader can transform a nation while simultaneously crushing its freedoms.
At a heavy price. Idiom. Achieving something, but with serious negative consequences or sacrifices. Example. They won the war at a heavy price. Thousands died. Controversial. Adjective. Causing disagreement or discussion because people have different opinions about it. Example. The new law is controversial. Some support it, others hate it. Dirt poor. Idiom. Adjective. Extremely poor, having almost no money or possessions. Example. He grew up dirt poor in a small village. 4. Rose through the ranks. Idiom. Gradually advanced to higher positions in an organization, especially military or corporate. Example. She rose through the ranks to become CEO. 5. Seized power. Verb phrase. Took control of government or leadership suddenly, often by force. Example. The general seized power in a military coup. Coup. Noun. Pronounced coup. A sudden, often violent overthrow of a government. Example. The 1961 coup changed Korea's political system. Transform a nation. Verb phrase. Completely change a country's character, economy, or political system. Example. Technology transformed the nation in just 20 years. 8. Simultaneously. Adverb. At the same time. Happening together. Example. He was simultaneously loved and feared. 9. Crushing. Verb, adjective. Metaphorical. Destroying or suppressing something completely and forcefully. Example. The government was crushing all opposition. Park's early life was marked by grinding poverty. Walking miles to school each day, he experienced firsthand the desperation that plagued rural Korea. This childhood hunger became an obsession. He vowed to lift the nation out of poverty by any means necessary. After training in Japanese military academies, Park returned to Korea and climbed the military ladder, eventually orchestrating the May 16 coup that toppled the democratic but chaotic Second Republic. Grinding poverty. Noun phrase. Severe, unrelenting poverty that wears a person down over time. Not just being poor, but suffering through it daily. Example. Millions lived in grinding poverty before the Industrial Revolution. Firsthand. Adverb, adjective. Directly, from personal experience, not from others or secondary sources. Example. She witnessed the war firsthand. Plagued. Verb. Metaphorical. To cause persistent suffering or trouble to someone, something. Originally means a deadly disease spreading widely. Example: corruption plagued the entire system for decades. 4. Lift the nation out of poverty. Verb phrase, idiomatic. To raise a country from poor economic conditions to a better standard of living. Example: the new president promised to lift the nation out of poverty. Climbed the military ladder. Idiom: advanced step by step through military ranks and promotions, similar to climbing the career ladder. Example: he climbed the ladder quickly due to his discipline. 7. Orchestrating. Verb, metaphorical. Carefully planning and organizing a complex event or operation. Originally means arranging music for an orchestra. Example: she was accused of orchestrating the entire scheme. 8. Toppled. Verb, to suddenly bring down or remove a government, leader, or structure from power. Example: the revolution toppled the monarchy overnight. What followed was an economic miracle wrapped in political repression. Park established the Economic Planning Board and launched ambitious 5-year plans that turned Korea on its head. In just 2 decades, he transformed an aid-dependent agricultural economy into an industrial powerhouse. Exports skyrocketed from $32.8 million in 1960 to over $5 billion by 1975. The economy grew at an eye-watering 9.3% annually, compared to just 3.7% before his rule. Wrapped in, phrasal verb, metaphorical. Covered or surrounded by something. Here it means the economic success came together with political repression. Example: the gift was wrapped in beautiful paper. Success wrapped in controversy. Turned Korea on its head. Idiom: completely reversed or transformed something. Changed it dramatically from what it was before. Example: the internet turned the business world on its head. Aid-dependent. Adjective: relying heavily on financial or material help from other countries to survive economically. Example: many developing nations remain aid-dependent for decades. Powerhouse. Noun. Metaphorical. A country, organization, or entity with great strength, energy, or influence, especially in economics or industry. Example: Germany became an industrial powerhouse after reunification. Skyrocketed. Verb, metaphorical. Rose extremely quickly and dramatically. Originally refers to a rocket shooting upward into the sky. Example: property prices skyrocketed in the city center. 6. Eye-watering. Adjective: informal or idiomatic. Extremely high or shocking in amount or degree. So impressive it makes your eyes water. Example: the company reported eye-watering profits this year. But this success story had a dark side. Park tightened his grip on power through the 1972 Yushin Constitution, which gave him virtually unlimited authority. Elections became rubber stamp exercises. The Korean CIA, established early in his rule, cracked down on dissent with brutal efficiency. Opposition leader Kim Dae-jung was kidnapped from Tokyo. Students who protested were arrested. The People's Revolutionary Party case saw 8 men executed on fabricated charges. They were only exonerated decades later.
The dark side. Noun phrase. Idiomatic. The negative, hidden, or unpleasant aspect of something that appears positive on the surface. Example: fame has a dark side that most people don't see. Tightened his grip on power. Idiom: increased control and authority, made it harder for others to challenge or resist. Example: the dictator tightened his grip after the failed coup.
Granted him almost complete power with very few restrictions or limits. Virtually means almost entirely, nearly. Example: the emergency law gave the president virtually unlimited authority. Rubber stamp. Adjective or verb, metaphorical. Approval given automatically without real consideration or power to reject. A formality with no real influence. Example: Parliament became a rubber stamp institution under his rule. Crack down on. Phrasal verb. To take strong, harsh action against something, especially to stop illegal activity or opposition. Example: police cracked down on illegal drug trafficking. 6. Fabricated charges. Noun phrase. False accusations or crimes invented or made up to frame someone. Fabricated equals invented, fake, not true. Example: he was imprisoned on fabricated charges of espionage. Exonerated. Verb. Formal. Legal. Officially declared innocent and cleared of blame or guilt after being wrongly accused. Example: DNA evidence exonerated the man after 20 years in prison. Park's economic policies also came at a cost. While the chaebol, giant conglomerates, flourished, workers saw their wages lag behind productivity gains. Income inequality worsened during the 1970s. Labor unions were suppressed, and strikes were brutally crushed. The benefits of growth were not evenly distributed. Came at a cost. Idiom. Had negative consequences or required sacrifices. Something was gained, but something valuable was lost or damaged. Example: his success came at a cost. He lost his family relationships. Lag behind. Phrasal verb. To fall behind or not keep up with something else. To move or progress more slowly. Example: wages lagged behind the rising cost of living. Third. Suppressed. Verb. Forcefully prevented from happening or being expressed. Put down or crushed by authority. Example: the government suppressed all opposition movements. Fourth. Brutally crushed. Verb phrase: emphatic. Violently and harshly destroyed or defeated. Stopped with extreme force. Brutally. In a cruel, violent, and savage manner.
Example: the military brutally crushed the peaceful protest. 5. Evenly distributed. Adjective phrase. Spread fairly and equally among people or groups. Shared in a balanced way. Example: wealth was not evenly distributed across society.
By 1979, the regime was showing cracks. Economic problems mounted, while protests erupted in Busan and Masan. On October 26th, Park was assassinated by his own intelligence chief during a private dinner, a shocking end that brought down the curtain on 18 years of authoritarian rule. Conceding cracks. Beginning to show signs of weakness, failure, or problems, starting to break down or fall apart. Example: their marriage was showing cracks after years of tension. Mounted. Increased or grew in intensity, number, or severity. Accumulated or built up. Example: pressure mounted on the CEO to resign.
Chapter 4. Erupted. Verb. Broke out suddenly and violently. Exploded into action. Often used for protests, conflicts, or emotions. Example: violence erupted in the streets after the announcement. 4. Assassinated. Verb. Murdered for political reasons. Usually a prominent or public figure. Example: President Kennedy was assassinated in 1963.
Brought down the curtain. Ended something. Marked the conclusion or final moment of an event or period. Origin. From theater, where a curtain falls at the end of a performance. Example: his retirement brought down the curtain on a 40-year career.
Park's legacy remains deeply divided. He laid the groundwork for South Korea's transformation into a wealthy democracy, but trampled on human rights to do it. Today, some Koreans view him as a visionary who saved the nation from poverty, while others see a dictator who held the country hostage. The truth, as always, lies somewhere in between. Park was both architect of prosperity and author of oppression. Two sides of the same coin.
Deeply divided. Sharply split into opposing views or opinions, causing strong disagreement with no middle ground. For example, public opinion on the new policy is deeply divided. Laid the groundwork for. Established the foundation or basic structure for something. Created the necessary conditions for future development. For example, her research laid the groundwork for major medical breakthroughs.
Trampled on. Phrasal verb. Violated, ignored, or destroyed something, usually rights, values, or dignity, without respect or care. Origin literally means to step heavily on something, crushing it underfoot. Example: the new laws trampled on citizens' freedom of speech.
4. Saved the nation from poverty. Phrase. Rescued the country from extreme economic hardship. Lifted people out of being poor. Example. The reforms saved millions from poverty and starvation.
5. Held the country hostage. Controlled a nation through force, fear, or oppression. Kept people trapped under authority with no freedom. Origin. From hostage-taking, where someone is held captive by force. Example. The regime held the country hostage for decades through military rule. 6. In between. Phrase. In the middle, not fully one extreme or the other. Somewhere in a balanced or moderate position. Example. The answer isn't black or white. It's somewhere in between. 7. Two sides of the same coin. Idiom. Two apparently different things that are actually closely related or inseparable aspects of the same situation. For example, love and hate are two sides of the same coin, both intense emotions.